I told you the grandest, most intact Han Dynasty tomb ever unearthed in Beijing was found with the help of actual civilian tomb raiders. Experts brought them in to locate the massive perimeter. They even had to call in army soldiers to help excavate the earth, just to uncover the main burial chamber. However, jaw-dropping mystery inside was about to completely baffle the entire archaeological team. Inside, they uncovered over Mot Fei Mot Hong Kong incredible artifacts and China's earliest intact Huangchang Tiku structure. But shockingly, the owner's remains have been dragged right outside his coffin by ancient looters. Who was he? Let's dive in. The story begins in early June, when construction workers at on-site in Baotai Village, Fengtai District, Beijing, accidentally unearthed fragments of charcoal, white paste mud, and red, lacquered coffin wood. If you follow archaeological discoveries, you know that white paste mud is undead giveaway for an elite, high-status tomb dating back to the spring and autumn or Qin Han periods, prompting workers to report it immediately. Within an hour and a half, an archaeological team arrived on the scene, utilizing Luoyang shovels to drill dozens of exploratory holes, pulling up charcoal and Wuzhou coins, confirming it was a massive Western Han tomb. On these well-preserved coins, the inscriptions are incredibly clear. Unlike the clipped, diminished Wuzhou coins of the later Eastern Han period, these feature fully intact edges, making them exceptionally beautiful specimens. This pristine condition makes these early Wuzhou coins incredibly valuable for historical study. Historically, Emperor Wu of Han introduced Wuzhou coins in Mo Tram Moi Tam BC, replacing the Qin dynasty's Banliang currency, while the white paste mud found here is on highly pure clay known for its incredible sealing properties. This clay blocks out air and moisture entirely, serving as an age standard protective measure for ancient aristocratic tombs, meaning the artifacts inside could be preserved in near perfect condition. Experts were highly anticipating significant artifacts, or even a remarkably preserved body, similar to Lady Xinzui from the Mawangdui Han tombs, especially since preliminary surveys showed this site was even larger. This massive scale strongly suggested the owner was an Western Han vassal king, but identifying exactly which one was tricky, as historical records regarding the precise borders of ancient Jicheng are somewhat vague. However, clues emerged from an previously discovered tomb near Beijing's Babaoshan, belonging to Huafang, wife of the Western Jin general Wang Jun, which contained an epitaph detailing her burial location relative to Jicheng. The inscription noted that she passed away during a severe famine, and, unable to return to her hometown, was temporarily buried exactly 20 li west of Jicheng, alongside an ancient measuring ruler that proved crucial. This ruler helped experts accurately pinpoint ancient Jicheng, establishing that one Jin dynasty Ji equaled Hemoy Boncham centimeters, with 1 BU, or step equaling 6G, roughly Motni Bontram Namoy meters. Since Batram steps made up 1 li back then, which is about Bontram Bamoy Lamcham some meters, that 20 li distance equated precisely to Tampe by Mote meters, giving archaeologists a concrete mathematical radius to work with. Measuring Tampe by Mote meters east from Huafang's tomb, placed the western wall of ancient Jicheng, near Beijing's modern Huichengmen, perfectly aligning with the fact that vassal kings were usually buried near their capital cities. During the Western Han period, Jicheng served as the capital of either the Yan or Guangyang kingdoms, strongly implying that the occupant of the Dabaotai tomb was an regional royal figure of immense power. The Han dynasty's deep-rooted belief in treating the deceased as if they were still living fueled a culture of incredibly lavish burials, famously seen in the tombs of Prince Liu Sheng and the Mawangdui site. Eager to uncover and protect these potential treasures, authorities quickly launched a rescue excavation, assembling an heavyweight team of elite archaeological experts from across China's capital. On August Moichin, Motnian Chin Tram by Moibuan, the formal dig began. The experts embraced a grueling daily routine, cycling to the site on heavy vintage bicycles, and working tirelessly with shovels in the intense summer heat. They spent hours breaking the tough soil, searching for structural clues. After an entire day of digging without finding the tomb's outer edge, the team realized they needed specialized help and brought in 3 unconventional guests to assist. These 3 experts from Henan were seasoned civilian prospectors, effectively professional tomb researchers. Dabluhato could pinpoint a burial site just by analyzing a handful of dirt from the ground. Using their ancestral techniques, they mapped the area using A&H combination of calculated guesswork and rigorous probing, relentlessly pushing forward despite numerous failed attempts to hit the exact spot. They simply refused to give up until the boundaries were perfectly clear. Thanks to these specialists, the team soon mapped the pit's massive edges, an east-west width of Chin meters, and a north-south length of roughly Motram meters, an astonishing footprint. Covering an area nearly the size of 2 football fields, this scale dwarfed most standard Han tombs, leading experts to deduce that this enormous earthen mound hid more than just An's single burial. With An burial mound soaring 9 meters high and containing 8,000 cubic meters of earth, the military was called in to help safely and methodically clear the staggering volume of soil. As the earth was cleared, fascinating artifacts emerged from the fill, including 2 Warring States period bone sickles, various clay spinning wheels, and several ancient Yan state knife coins. Further digging revealed architectural ruins from the later Jin dynasty, built directly over the site, which thrillingly suggested that the tomb likely hadn't been compromised or looted any time after that era. Interestingly, experts noted that the rammed earth used for the mound wasn't local, but was transported from elsewhere, a massive logistical undertaking that proved the tomb owner possessed extraordinary wealth and resources. As anticipation built over what treasures lay beneath, the ongoing excavation uncovered An solitary Wuzu coin and An fiercely designed, gilded bronze door ring holder known as An Pushu. This bronze artifact was structurally designed to be mounted on An heavy, imposing door. Normally, these door ring holders come in matching pairs, and finding An's delicate lacquer tray nearby confused experts as such high, status grave goods should NT be scattered loose in the protective outer earth. The mystery was tragically solved when they uncovered An rectangular looter's tunnel. Despite the summer heat, the archaeological team felt unchill, realizing this site had been breached in ancient times. Soon, multiple other looter holes were spotted along the southern edge, validating the old archaeological adage that 9 out of 10 Han Dynasty tombs have been completely emptied by thieves. The aristocracy intended to carry their wealth into the afterlife, but these rich burials inevitably became irresistible targets for tomb raiders throughout history, leaving modern experts bracing for profound disappointment. However, given the tomb's colossal footprint, the team remained optimistic, logically concluding that even the most thorough ancient looters couldn't possibly have cleared out An's structure of this immense magnitude. Their hopes were soon validated by incredible news. On second, distinct burial chamber was discovered adjacent to the west side, perfectly confirming the earlier hypothesis of An multi-tomb complex, designated as Tomb Number Mot and Tomb No. Hai. Meticulous surveying revealed that the soil mound covering the second tomb physically overlapped and was rammed tighter than the first. This stratigraphy clearly indicated that Tomb Number Hai was constructed later. An month into the dig as Tomb Number Mot soil was cleared, they struck An thick layer of protective charcoal. Beneath this charcoal was the expected white paste mud, followed by yet another charcoal layer, creating an highly effective sandwich-like moisture barrier that showcased incredibly advanced ancient engineering techniques. Once these defensive layers were carefully removed, the tomb's true architecture was exposed. An massive, cross-shaped structure, spanning Hemui Socham meters north to south, and Hemui Mocham meters east to west, far exceeding the dimensions of the famous Mawangdui tomb of the Marquis of Dai. The strict hierarchical rules of the Han Dynasty dictated that this occupant held on significantly higher royal rank. During the Western Han era, 12 individuals held the titles of Prince of Yan or Guangyang, but only 5 reigned after the introduction of Wuzhu coins: Liu Dan, Liu Jian, Liu Sheng, Liu Huang, and Liu Jia. So, which of these 5 powerful regional rulers was buried at Double Tai? As the exhaustive excavation reached the pit's floor, the structural remains provided an extraordinary, unprecedented architectural revelation. At the center lay an absolutely colossal wooden outer coffin complex. Interestingly, its massive roof structure showed distinct signs of ancient fire damage, with carbonized wooden beams scattered across the top. Once the overlaying soil was entirely removed, the entire pit was essentially a forest of timber. But fortunately, despite the fire, the fundamental structural integrity of the complex remained largely intact. What deeply perplexed the archaeologists was the construction method. The chamber was formed by meticulously stacking individual, rectangular blocks of cypress wood, an architectural design they had never encountered in reality. Peeling away the timber layers one by one, the team observed that the surrounding walls were built from perfectly uniform, highly polished wooden blocks, each exactly centimeters in length, with an consistent width and thickness of precisely 10 centimeters. The sheer volume of these meticulously crafted timber blocks left the team completely astounded, struggling to identify this baffling ancient architectural style. This highly unusual tomb layout sent shockwaves through China's archaeological community, bringing Xianai, the founding father of modern Chinese archaeology, directly to the site to personally oversee the artifact clearance. In the outer corridors, he quickly uncovered vital chronological clues alongside animal sacrificial remains, which skeletal analysis positively identified as one leopard and 3 robust horses used as grave goods. The corridor was also packed with numerous pottery figures, as well as massive earthen jars filled with sacrificial offerings of millet and various animal bones to sustain the spirit. In the front chamber, they discovered a stunning red and black lacquer rug, followed by intricate lacquer boxes and cups, extraordinarily rare finds for the dry climate of the Beijing region. Consulting ancient texts, experts realized this stacked timber structure matched the legendary Huangchang Tiku, a paramount imperial burial custom documented in history but never before physically verified by modern science. The Book of Han explicitly lists the required elements for this ultimate honor: an inner coffin, resting chambers, outer coffins, and the defining characteristic, the Huangchang Tiku timber wall system. Strictly reserved for emperors and highly favored vassal kings, the technique required stripping the bark from cypress trees and using only the yellow-hued heartwood, resembling intestines, hence the term Huangchang. The root facing ends of these massive timber blocks are called the T, and they were stacked inward, pointing directly toward the central coffin in NH radiating pattern, creating the Ku arrangement. Standardized at more centimeters square and chin more centimeters long, the builders ensured the massive wooden walls remained perfectly stable during construction by filling any microscopic gaps with incredibly thin wooden shims. The sheer scale of the Dabotai Huangchang Tiku is breathtaking, standing exactly 3 meters tall, nearly 1 meter thick, and stretching an incredible Bonmoy-high meters in total perimeter length. Unearthing this confirmed the tomb owner was undeniably top-tier royalty, as the precise physical structure beautifully matched ancient textual descriptions, bridging the gap between historical myth and hard archaeological reality. To this day, experts consider this finding to be one of the most remarkable and textbook, perfect examples ever discovered in China. It stands as the absolute gold standard for this type of architecture. However, building it required massive resources, as one single cypress tree takes over 1 century to mature. Astonishingly, this single tomb utilized Moilampai Tam Tam Kong individual cypress blocks, meaning an massive, ancient, centuries old forest had to be completely leveled just to construct this singular eternal resting place. This extravagant expenditure of natural resources definitively proved the occupant was Man Western Han King. With the corridors cleared, the team finally reached the most anticipated moment, opening the central coffin. Finding 31 Wuzhu coins on the outer lid reaffirmed the post-Motrem Moitam BC timeline, and upon opening the outer layer, they discovered an beautifully carved dove-headed staff resting on the middle coffin. This ceremonial staff was a profound symbol of respect for elders in ancient times, but as they breached the middle coffin, a truly shocking scene awaited the archaeological team. The innermost coffin, crafted from incredibly precious Nanmu wood, was smashed, and the physical remains of the tomb owner lay fully exposed outside the protective casing, surrounded by the faint imprints of ancient ropes. The fact that the bones were still perfectly articulated indicated that the tomb owner was dragged out by looters shortly after burial, before the body's connective tissues had time to fully decompose. Experts reconstructed the crime. Ancient looters breached the tomb, stripped the outer corridors of accessible wealth, violently hacked open the inner coffin, looped end rope around the royal corpse's neck, and dragged it out. Continuing their meticulous work around the skeleton, they found scattered treasures the thieves missed, including jade pendants, rings, countless Wuzhu coins, and a spectacular gilded bronze pillow inlaid with jade dragon heads. This incredibly luxurious pillow featured crystal eyes and intricate green jade, detailing for the teeth and tongue, serving as an absolute marker of the deceased's supreme aristocratic status and immense wealth. After fully clearing the timber structure, they could digitally reconstruct the complete layout, revealing the central royal coffin area and the adjacent Biafang resting chambers described in ancient literature. While imperial coffins were typically crafted from rare catalpa wood, the presence of the Biafang, a specialized room for the deceased spirit to rest, completed the ultimate trinity of elite Han burial architecture. With the architectural evidence rock solid, the occupant was undoubtedly a vassal king. Moving back to the inner corridors, the team discovered fragmented lacquerware adorned with intricate, winding dragon and phoenix motifs. Alongside gold, inlaid iron sword hilts, and thousands of broken pottery vessels meant for the afterlife, the crucial identifying item, the king's personal seal, was frustratingly missing from the debris. Suddenly, amidst the shattered remains, an expert's eye caught a tiny fragment of broken lacquerware. It was the bottom of an crushed box, bearing faded characters that were impossible to read immediately, pushing the team to expand their search as the excavation pushed into its second grueling year. With no definitive name found in tomb number Mat, the researchers shifted their focus toward tomb number Hai hoping the adjacent burial might hold the ultimate key to solving the historical puzzle. Located Bamoy meters west, the secondary tomb featured an Hemoy Bon meter ramp leading into an substantial Hemoy Mut by Moiso meter pit, but the team's high hopes were quickly dashed by severe ancient looting. Riddled with even more looter tunnels than the first, the chamber was heavily compromised. While it also utilized the elite Huangshan Tiku structure, water damage had caused catastrophic decay over the millennia. Even the accompanying chariot pit, which once held 3 magnificent carriages and 10 horses, had completely rotted away, leaving nothing but faint, ghostly organic stains in the damp soil. Fortunately, jade is virtually indestructible, and experts recovered an stunning collection of ornaments at the bottom of the chamber, including an exquisite openwork carving of an ancient, flowing, sleeved dancer. This delicate translucent jade dancer is an hallmark artifact of aristocratic female burials. Accompanied by twin phoenix, carved white jade seals, it definitively proved the occupant was the primary royal consort. Sadly, her remains were completely degraded, leaving only 2 surviving teeth. Meanwhile, simultaneous work on tomb number Mut's chariot pit yielded an absolutely massive and historically pivotal discovery. They unearthed 3 beautifully painted chariots and the remains of 11 real horses. This practice of sacrificing actual animals and vehicles established a hard, undeniable chronological boundary for the site. Historical records verify that after Emperor Yuan's death in Bamoy BC, the cruel practice of real animal sacrifice was abolished, tightly narrowing the tomb owner's burial window to an highly specific time frame, falling precisely between the minting of Wuzhu coins and Bamoy BC. Only 2 regional kings match this tight timeline: the notoriously ambitious Liu Dan and the much quieter Prince Liu Jian. Prince Liu Dan, the highly educated, extraordinarily talented, and incredibly ambitious third son of the legendary Emperor Wu, was initially tasked with the crucial military defense of the empire's northern borders. Given his direct imperial bloodline and massive influence, it made perfect historical sense that Liu Dan would be buried with the supreme honor of An Huangshan Tiku complex. However, laboratory analysis on the faded text from the broken lacquer box finally yielded results, revealing characters indicating the king had reigned for at least 24 continuous years. This crucial data point was the final puzzle piece. During this specific era, only a handful of kings held power for over 2 decades, perfectly filtering the list of potential candidates. Among those reigning past the introduction of Wuzhu coins, the Bamuatam, year reign of Liu Dan, and the Haimuechin, year reign of Liu Jian, were the only 2 historical profiles that matched the evidence. Further osteological analysis of the remains revealed the female consort in tomb number had died between ages Hamoy and Hamoy Lam, while the male king in tomb number Mo died around age Bon Moy Lam to Namoy Lam. While this age bracket aligned with Liu Dan's death, historical texts tell an dark tale of his repeated rebellions, climaxing in an failed conspiracy in Tamoy BC that deeply angered the emperor. Knowing his execution was imminent, the disgraced Liu Dan ended his own life, and his loyal queen, Lady Hua Rong, immediately followed suit to accompany him in death. But the archaeological evidence showed tomb number Hai was built significantly later than tomb number Mots, completely contradicting the historical record of unsimultaneous dual tragedy, thus eliminating Liu Dan. This massive discrepancy pointed directly to his son Liu Jian, whose life was radically different. Following his father's catastrophic treason, Liu Jian was stripped of his titles, but years later, Emperor Xuan surprisingly restored his royal status, appointing him as the very first prince of Guangyang. Learning from his family's dark past, Liu Jian lived a highly conservative, fiercely loyal life, which likely earned him the emperor's immense favor and the ultimate reward of An Huangshan Tiku burial. To double-check, experts cross-referenced ancient geographical texts, which stated that Liu Dan was actually buried near modern Daishi-Jingshan, a location far too distant from the Baotai village excavation site. This geographical certainty finally closed the case. The massive Daotai complex unequivocally belonged to the rehabilitated, cautious, and incredibly wealthy Prince Liu Jian of Guangyang. Consequently, the adjacent tomb number Hai belonged to his beloved consort, Dabluhato survived him by several years, before being laid to rest in an overlapping, intricately connected eternal chamber. Ultimately, tomb number Mot yielded an astounding Tam Tram Nam Mue artifacts spanning 10 categories, while the heavily looted tomb number has still surrendered her Trambomoy precious items, primarily bronze and exquisite jade. This landmark excavation gave the world its first physical proof of the legendary Huangchang Tiku burial system, a testament to the grand architectural achievements of the era. It spectacularly brought the high-status burial customs of the Han Dynasty vividly back to life. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the ODV channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos.